Today we're talking all about sugars. Specifically the type of sugar you might have in your pantry, that you're baking with, that you're putting in your coffee. And I want to dispel a lot of myths around good sugars versus bad sugars. So in our consciousness, we kind of often have this categorization between bad sugars, so sugars in like Coca-Cola or soda or white table sugar, and good sugars like maybe brown sugar, agave syrup, fruit juice, right? We think there's these two distinct categories of sugars. The ones that are really okay to eat because they come from plants or from fruit or they're natural, and the ones that are really bad and that we should stay away from. Well, I have a scoop for you. All sugars are actually the same. White sugar, brown sugar, coconut sugar, agave, honey, I know, maple syrup, any other kind of like cool looking, refined sugar you might find at the supermarket. All of these sugars are exactly the same for the body. Why? Because all of these sugars are actually the same molecules. They are all molecules of glucose and fructose, regardless of whether you're having honey or you're having a can of Coca-Cola. It is all the same molecules. And your body does not care whether the molecules came from honey or from a can of Coca-Cola. Your body treats those molecules the same, and they have the same impact on your health, which is creating glucose spikes and fructose spikes and leading to short-term and long-term symptoms for our health. This can be a little bit shocking to most of us because marketing in this space has been so successful. When we look at some honey at the supermarket or even agave syrup, we see all these messages on it like, low glycemic index or raw or natural or comes from fruit, etc. So we often believe those marketing messages. What about honey? So you may see on a pot of honey a marketing message like high in antioxidants, right? You might think, oh great, like I love antioxidants, they're healthy, therefore honey is a much healthier choice than, let's say, regular white table sugar. What they're not telling you is that honey, yeah, it does contain antioxidants, but not that many. You can get as many antioxidants in a tablespoon of honey as you get in half a blueberry. A blueberry cut in half has as many antioxidants in it as a whole tablespoon of honey. And the honey, sure, it contains a little bit of antioxidants, but it also contains mountains of glucose and fructose molecules that impact your health and deregulate your glucose levels. Special mention for agave syrup. So on a bottle of agave syrup, you will often see a label that says low glycemic index. And you might think, oh, that means it's really much better for me. Or you might see on like a pack of coconut sugar, low glycemic index. So you'll think, oh, that's much better sugar for me than just regular old white sugar. Well, the thing that they're not telling you is that that lower glycemic index actually has a consequence to it. The reason that agave syrup has a lower glycemic index is because it does contain fewer glucose molecules than regular sugar. Therefore, and stay with me for this one. Therefore, the glucose spike of agave is smaller than the glucose spike of regular sugar. But what they're not telling you is that because there are fewer glucose molecules in agave, as a result, there are actually more fructose molecules. So the ratio of fructose is increased. And fructose is actually worse for our health than glucose. So agave syrup is worse for our health than regular table sugar. Let me repeat, that agave syrup that has the low glycemic index health halo or marketing halo on it is actually worse for you than regular table sugar. So when it comes to sugars, coconut sugar, maple syrup, agave, honey, etc., my philosophy is we should just pick whichever one we like best. because they all have a similar impact on our body. In this challenge, I'm going to make you a detective. So when it comes to sugars, they're all the same for our body. So I want you to just always pick the one you like most and that gives you the most pleasure. Because for your body, it doesn't make a big difference whether you pick honey, agave, or regular table sugar, or maple syrup, or coconut sugar, or brown sugar. So for this challenge, I want you to go in your pantry or to a supermarket and find what are called health halos on packaging. So I want you to find a packaging of something sweet, of sugar, and find a marketing message on it that is trying to trick you into believing that this is much better for you than regular sugar. So you might find on like an agave packet, lower glycemic index. You might see a honey pot that says high in antioxidants. You might see coconut sugar that says high in fiber. It doesn't contain that much fiber. You might see a bag of brown sugar that says something like raw or unprocessed. I want you to become really good at spotting these health halos, these marketing messages, so that you know that that's not a good reason to buy the product. As soon as it comes to sugar or sweet things, again, these messages, these health halos are trying to trick you. Always pick the one you like most. Don't believe the marketing. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe that one of these sugars is better for you than the other. In the worksheet, you'll find some of those key phrases, some of those really common health halos that are used by food companies to make their product seem healthier than it is. And as you go through this challenge, you might even find that you see these health halos on products that are not sugar. You might see these on granola boxes. You might see these on yogurts. You might see these on fruit smoothies. I want you to become really good at spotting them so that you're not fooled and you know how to make decisions that are good for your health. And I know cravings for sugar happen. I used to have them all the time. When a craving hits, I want you to remember this. Don't feel bad about it. Don't try to use all your willpower to suppress it and ignore it. Try not to feel guilt or shame around it. I recommend you actually eat the thing you're craving. And then as you start incorporating these glucose hacks into your life and your glucose levels steady, you'll notice that a lot of cravings will naturally dissipate. You're taking this course and we're talking all things glucose and sugar. And the point here is not to, cut out all sugars and starches from your diet. I want you to take this one step at a time, one day at a time. I'm going to introduce a new concept, teach you a new little trick, and these things will add up to you starting to feel better and steadying your glucose levels. It's all about slow, gradual progress. And if you have sugar cravings, like most of us do, remember it's okay. I recommend you eat the thing that you're craving. As you go through this course and you steady your glucose levels, a lot of the cravings will naturally dissipate as your glucose levels come back into balance.